This is News Desk. You're welcome to the program. Now, police in the Ashanti region are warning delegates and supporters of the National Democratic Congress against any acts of lawlessness at Saturday's Congress in Kumasi. Regional Commander DCOP Kofi Boakye says troublemakers will be made to face the full rigors of the law. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin reports from the area.
The NDC Congress to elect nation officers is slated for the Babayara Stadium in Kumasi on Saturday. Police say, though it is an internal election, the large number of delegates due to converge in Kumasi makes security paramount. Besides the venue for the Congress, police would also provide security at hotels and other vantage points of the city. Arrangements have also been made for patrol teams to monitor the situation in and around the stadium area to ensure incident-free event. DCOP Kofi Boakye wants delegates to be law-abiding whilst observing party's rules for the Congress.
We continue to advise hotel managers to to be conscious of their bookkeeping, documentation, to make sure that people who come there are well documented, people who sleep in their hotels, because we have instances where some unscrupulous people go and book in a hotel knowing that there are a lot of visitors there and rob them.
He advises hotel managers to be alert and keep proper records of their guests during the Congress. The police commander assures residents of police protection during the Christmas festivities, but he urges members of the public to be vigilant in order not to fall prey to criminals.
All the laws are being enforced, and people should not say that because it's a political party activity, they can do whatever they like. No. All the laws of the country are still enforceable. This is a Congress. You come, you do what you are supposed to do, and go. But if you can't find yourself in problem in Kumasi, the law will take its course.
Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin's report for Joy News.
Among other issues, let's find out exactly what the police in the Ashanti region has put in place to forestall any untoward situations. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin is our Ashanti regional correspondent. He's joined me over the telephone. Hello, Nuruddin. Exactly what are the efforts the police has put in place in the Ashanti region ahead of the Congress tomorrow?
Well, they are saying they would provide adequate security. They would make sure it will be a success event. And so, at every vantage point, police personnel will be placed to provide security. Within and outside the stadium, there would be. And as I'm speaking now, much has gone into the preparation, and now the party leadership is concerned about the arrangement. They're going to allow only 50 vehicles into the stadium, and that would be for only the dignitaries, including the president, would be allowed to park their vehicles in the stadium. All other vehicles, they say, will be parked at 300 meters away from the stadium. And the main entrance will only be open to the delegates, and all other gates would also open to the observers. We are also being told that 150 food vendors have also been accredited to conduct their businesses around the stadium.
How many men are the police, or is the police put into this?
I mean, it has not. They haven't specified the number of policemen that would fight the stadium and the patrol team as well. But they are telling us that they're going to make sure adequate security is provided tomorrow. So they have not mentioned the number. They were not specific on how many security men will be at the stadium and those that will be patrolling. But they are sure of providing adequate security.
Very well. Let's talk about the stadium and tell us how prepared it is for the Congress on Saturday. I know you've given us some of the security arrangements we had to do with parking and seal in and around the stadium. But the stadium itself, how ready is it?
Very, very ready. I mean, I can tell you the whole stadium is, decorated with the party colors. Every place has been demarcated where the delegates are going to be seated according to regionals and all that. It has been demarcated, and the space has been the tents have been erected in the stadium. Everything is set here, and the only thing we are waiting now is for tomorrow. We are waiting for tomorrow so that the program will begin. Most of the delegates are in yesterday. Some of them were in, but today I think a lot of them are around. And
well, what do you know about some big names having made their way there already, especially with some of the aspirants?
Some of them were here in the morning. I saw some of them, and let me just make this point. The leadership of the party wants the delegates to understand that they would not be allowed to hold any aspirant poster in the stadium. They wouldn't be allowed, any delegates will not be allowed to do that, and they are very, very serious about this. And I'm told very soon they will issue a press statement on this issue and on other issues, including the security arrangement at the stadium. So this is exactly what they want the delegates to know. But the aspirants are here.
Are you able to identify those aspirants who have already made their way to the Ashanti Regional Capital?
Not at the time I was at the stadium. Some of them who came, I was told some of them who came left, but I haven't been able to have an interaction or, set my eyes on them. But I was told by some party officials that some were there, and then they left. They haven't had some one-on-one interaction. I haven't set my eyes on some of them yet.
Let's talk about the full security arrangement. That's of which you know. The sale of paraphernalia. You mentioned that the police had restrictions as to that. Talk us through that again.
You're talking about the security arrangement in the stadium?
Yes.
Well, what I was saying was about the number of cars that will be allowed into the stadium, and the 50 cars will be allowed into the stadium, and that would be for only the dignitaries, including the president, and all other cars will be parked 300 meters away from the stadium, and the delegates would also, the main entrance will be open to the delegates, and other gates would also be open to the observers and other people.
I see. Very well. Would probably leave our conversation here. But just before you go, the National Executive meeting is today. What have you heard about it?
So for now, we have, like I said, there will be. I'm just told that they will issue a press statement anytime soon, and I'm sure they're going to be talking about these issues. They're going to talk about issues that have been discussed in their meeting. But
very
for
well.
now, I wouldn't be able to tell what.
Thank you very much all the same for your time. Nuruddin Mohammed Nuruddin joined us from the Ashanti region, where he tells us that all is set at the Baba Yara Stadium, where the National Congress for the NDC will take place tomorrow. We'll continue our conversation about the NDC's Congress, which happens tomorrow, or December 20, rather. I'm joined over the telephone by a deputy general secretary for the party, George Lawson. George, you're welcome to the program.
Well, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. So all is set for the big day.
Yeah, Kumasi is ready for the big day.
How are you expecting events to turn out tomorrow?
Oh, very peaceful. Free, fair, and peaceful Congress.
And we all wish the NDC that, but we understand also that it will be preceded by a NEC meeting today.
Certainly. I mean, NEC normally meets before, a night before Congress. So definitely we'll have to have our final meeting before Congress, and then we dissolve.
What are some of those issues you're expecting will be tabled at this meeting?
Oh, for now, I have not been so much involved because I've been on the campaign trail for the past 2 weeks. So I've not been, I don't know the agenda, and so I'll not be able to tell you what actually is going to be discussed at the next meeting.
Very well. We'll leave it at that, and wish you all the best. When are you going to Kumasi, though? Or you're already there?
I'm already in Kumasi. I'm visiting, meeting delegates from various the 47 constituencies in Kumasi. So that is what I'm doing now. So I wish all delegates well. Those delegates coming to, I wish them safe journey. When they come tomorrow, they should vote Kofi Adams as organizer. He's number 1. They should vote Kamel Noshi, number 3, as treasurer. Nidodu as national propaganda secretary. He's 3. George Lawson, and number 6 as the deputy general secretary. Harry Zakor, number 6 as national vice chairman. And Mr. Potife as chairman.
We wish you, George, all the best, and we'll probably talk again soon.
Okay. Thanks.
George Lawson is the Deputy General Secretary for the National Democratic Congress. But a number of issues have also come up to be discussed at this NEC meeting to be held today. One of those issues reports suggest would be to increase the size of the electoral college for the NDC. How important is this? Let's find out from Aburampa Mensah. He's Ghana Programs Officer for the Center for Democratic Development, CDD, I believe. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you, my sister.
Let's look at some of the issues. The reports have suggested the NEC meeting would be tabled at the NEC meeting today, increasing the electoral college for the NDC. Will that be of any importance to the party?
Very much to democratic dispensation of every evolving democracy. One of the things that seeks to enhance democracy is enlarged participation of people involved in a particular electoral area. We all know the example the NPP showed in the enlargement of their electoral college and what problems have solved so far. You and I are aware of some of the issues that are bundling around concerning monetization of the electoral process. You and I are aware of some of the allegations that have come up, especially for a party chairman. If the party college people are going to vote now is enlarged, it has a huge number of people coming. I think some of these allegations will not come up. Secondly, it has formed a broad base of the party supporters to also take charge in deciding who become their leaders to lead their broadcast party. So this is very much important in democratic dispensation.
But let's look at the opposition NPP. Even after the electoral college was also expanded, we still had some of these accusations anyway. So how will, in the case of the NPP, this help them?
Well, you know what happens when the NPP assembled almost 19 candidates to contest for the presidential candidacy. And you know the level of allegations and then the premise of the allegations in the latest subsequent elections after the electoral college was enlarged. The two could not be compared. In fact, when you have so many mouths feed, when you have so many people going to take a decision on a particular issue, it becomes very difficult for one person to be able to bribe his way through or buy votes in that enlarged forum. But when the people are very few, when they have about 2,000-3,000 people to work your way through, in fact, if one candidate is able to do a brief pre-election survey, he could identify the potential people that he needs to weave his way through, and that becomes very much easier for him to get additional votes for his reliable voters. So it's very much important that we always try to broaden the base of people who take decisions, start to curtail some of these problems.
I'm going to have you hold the line just for a brief period. David Agbe is Executive Director for the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. He's joined the conversation. Let me just engage him over the next few minutes as well. David. Hello, David. I think David is not ready, and so we'll just continue with our conversation. Beyond that, it took the NDC quite a struggle to get to this point where they are going to organize their national congress. What are some of the other issues you would expect the NEC meeting to table?
Well, it's been very much important that any dispensation, any group of people, any organization, there are basic principles, rules, and regulations that guide that very organization or institution. And one of the things that I've realized from the NDC Congress since its beginning is some of the breach of some minute principles that they themselves have tabled in their constitution. For instance, if elections are not declared or nominations are not declared, it's forbidden for people to go around campaigning or doing things publicly. But you saw and we heard so many people go around even before the official opening of nominations. What I've also seen so far is people holding positions in the party, within the party, aptly positioning themselves for one or the other the candidacy. That's not the rule, that's not regulation against them, but that seeks to divide the front of the party. So I think it will be better for them if you're a national executive already in position and you are not contesting or you are contesting, you have to be very circumspect in some of the things that you see on air, some of the campaigns that you do, and some of the accusations that are labeled out, and especially what the national chairman has said. It does not only impact negatively on the image of the party, but it's something that if you are in a serious country, any other institution will pick it up for further investigations. So in internal politics, whatever happens, we have to circumspect. Some of these are some of the things that I think behind doors, the party executives will try to patch up, else it will have the potential to divide the front of the party after the Congress.
The incumbent chair made a number of comments with regards to the attitude of some leaders of the NDC, including Jerry John Rawlings, former president. And now for you, his comments about the former president, who also commented on Kofi Adams, who is one of the aspirants in the race. Was it in bad taste that Rawlings had come out to do that?
Well, I think it also generates from the so-called groupings and factions that are coming up in the party. I heard one of the leading members of the party on air this morning, Johnson this morning, and it seeks to say that almost every leading member in the party knows which faction or group, even though it's not publicly pronounced, that he or she belongs to. So it's in vain of that personalism and people trying to still control affairs of the party that will push such a personality to come up to also defend his position and where he aligns himself with. It all boils down to the fact of how the people in position now controlling the party behaves and take decisions, make their pronouncements. If in fact we want unity and we want to contest in free and fair environment, we wouldn't have wanted some of the leading politicians to come out publicly to make some of the pronouncements that they made, especially when my own uncle, General Mosquito, said, if you vote against the winning candidate or people in affairs, I would advise myself. As a leading general secretary, you are there for everybody, and you are not expected to take sides in such a way, especially when people think that you are deeply involved in the organization of such a process. Then you are trying to position yourself for people to believe that the accounts may be twisted.
Do you expect expect some of these comments from the aspirants, incumbent executives, some members of parliament of the NDC to have any impact on the National Congress on Saturday?
Well, we've had experience of such nature. That's why I'm very much happy that all of the people, the leading members of the party, whenever they are speaking, they speak and also warn that they are going for a peaceful Congress and they wouldn't like a repetition of what happened at Koforidua the way it's held in Kumasi. I'm also happy that Commander 1, Home Commander Kofi Boateng, has also made a clear pronouncement that he who tries to cause problems in Kumasi will face the full rigors of the law. Yes, it has a great impact. And you are aware, my sister, the kind of security we saw at Tungane when Nana Korodua Jimmy Rollins was trying to contest Prof. Mill. It tells you the heat and tension that comes up in such pronouncements and preparations ahead of elections. So it will have impact if it's not well managed.
But again, we'd expect some of these issues to be tabled at the next meeting. How do you expect the council to deal with this going forward, even especially for tomorrow's Congress?
I think there should be a commitment, and there should be behind those the strict principles tabled there for everybody to attend to before they move to the Congress, and especially post-Congress messages, as we are aware, should also be very much important, craft into the conversation that will come out, and also try to speak to individual candidates, to speak to their supporters, and warn that the party would not support or go behind anybody who causes commotion that incurs the wrath of the police. I mean, these are some of the things that they have to make it clear to candidates so that they don't come out to say that the party has neglected them when it comes to security issues.
Abraham, now David is back, and so I'm going to have you hold on just for a while. David Agbe is Executive Director for the Ghana Institute of Governance and Security. Hopefully, we won't lose him this time. David.
Yes, Colonel, thank you so much, and you are welcome.
It's been quite a fight for the NDC to get to this point. What's been your reading into all that has been happening up to this point?
Yeah, once again, thank you very much. And I must say that gradually the dust is settling now towards the NDC Congress in Ashanti region, Kumasi specifically. I think that they've been able to demonstrate themselves very well, although there were certain, utterances being made by some of their party leaders which wasn't good enough. But in a general sense, one could say that the dust is settling now, and so we want to see a very decent and very free and fair election tomorrow. We believe strongly that a strong political party strengthens democracy. And so if you have a ruling party which is trying to elect its leaders, it's quite a good phenomenon that we expect them to elect people who will have a certain level of courage and a certain level of expertise and experience to nurture their party very well and to be able to strengthen, democracy, and more to the point, and ensure that the governing party or their government also perform. As we speak now, there are a lot of challenges that the party is going through, and we hope that they will be able to appoint or select people who will be able to, rise up to the occasion of preparing a certain policy that will be able to steer the affairs of their governance. But as we speak now, we are
but David, you see, after preceding situations up to this point, and the fact that Dr. J has been reported as saying that, some people have been, or generally really, people have been accused of corrupt practices, trying to influence votes with money, trying to influence the voters.
Yes,
Is it too late? Is it too late to want to assure the supporters that indeed this could be a free and fair election? How can the party do that?
You see, So let me say that the founder of the party, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, have been lamenting about this phenomenon, in NDC, that it is not a good principle for the party. I mean, he believes that people should not use money because of monetization within the NDC. And so he believes that people shouldn't use money to influence people. He believes that it is not the credentials or the culture of the party. But however, the party is evolving, steadily. And so they need to be able to do a balancing act. People who are using money to influence people, they need to go back to the root of the party. They need to read the philosophy behind the party. And that is what they are losing as to speak. I mean, gone are the days that when you see a social democratic person, I mean, you understand where he is coming from. But now, it looks as if the whole philosophy of the party has been diluted. If you do not have money now, you cannot contest an election within NDC as you speak. And it is not a good signal, although money has a critical role, to play as far as electioneering or any political development is concerned. But the way monetization is coming into the terrain of NDC now, it's quite a threatening phenomenon. But look at somebody like my very big man, Mr. Kofi Potiphar. As we speak now, people are accusing him that he is, sharing money across the country. Every constituency that he goes, he gives nothing less than thousands.
Well, I'm sure the issue of buying votes will cut across most of the candidates in the race. But David, I'm going to have you hold on just for a bit. Abrampa,
yes, please.
In your opinion, are there any lessons? Because I remember that the NPP during a similar situation in Tamale put up quite a stance for their supporters prior and post-election. Are there any lessons the NDC could draw from the NPP at this point? I think we have lost Abarampa there, but David perhaps would want to respond to that question. David.
Let me say that there are a number of lessons that the party need to learn. Like I said, the party is evolving. The party, almost about 22 years ago, that it was formed, it is not well matured enough. However, they need to learn quickly. And so it takes critical people with that critical level of mindset to be able to steer the affairs of the party so that monetization doesn't become the order of the day for people to be, elected or appointed to become a party leader. They need to be able to mitigate that, situation. And so one of the critical things that the party needs to do is to ensure that they look for people who have the competence, who have the know-how, and with quite rich experience to be able to bring the party up. You see, look at the party as we speak. NDC hasn't experienced any kind of court, agitation here and there, but now people have, the guts to take the party to court, casting insinuation, insulting people here and there, and all those phenomena coming into the party is not a good signal. They need to be able to school their party members.
David, I'm gonna have you hold the line for now, just for a bit. Abrampa is back over the telephone. It's good to have you back.
Thank you, my sister.
So I was asking that, are there any lessons? Because then you realized that the NDC at this point is faced with a similar situation as the NPP had when they have to go to Tamale. Are there any lessons they could draw from the NPP?
Yes, there are lessons, but let me just follow up from where David
left off.
And we all know that monetization of politics brings so many problems, challenges to the system. One, we're not able to elect competent people that we expect to see our affairs. So don't forget, some of these people that we are electing as party executives today, when the party retains power, there are some of the people who continuously hold affairs, and maybe, as we see in our country now, they are appointed to head boards of institutions in our country, taking major decisions affecting lives of ordinary people on the street. So it's important we demonetize the system, the process, and have people elected based on what people see as being competent and people who can steer better affairs when elected or appointed to positions. That's the lessons learned. The NDC is a party that should have so many lessons to learn from some of these things. One, from single-handedly holding somebody's hand to become a president. We all saw what happened, the division that came into the party for other people forming their own political parties. We all saw the fallout of the Kotoria that a party cropped up of the same party. We all saw some of the allegations that Nana Konodo Rollins labeled after the Senior Congress that resulted in her forming her own political party. So in all the political parties, you also know what happened in the era of Victor Osu, in the MTP era. So all the political parties in the country have good lessons and history to learn from so as to stop some of these things when it comes to internal organization.
But tomorrow, there will need to, the leadership of the party would need to prove to the people that indeed we're here to have a free and fair election, which is what we all have been wishing the NDC. But how do they do that?
Well, I think that the two main speeches that Herald Congresses, pre-election or pre-Congress speeches and post-Congress speeches, whether it's a gimmick or real, some of these statements that will make to our followers. Don't forget, study shows that statements from leadership, grassroots, take them more seriously than any other people they speak to. So we expect bold statements of unity, of free and fair, of peace, erase the party at Congress. And after the Congress, we expect losing and winning candidates to also speak in a tone of unity and peace. I think they will lead the party forward.
David.
Yes, look at somebody like Dr. Kovreji, a progressive intellectual like that. He is going to lose the election because of the fact that he doesn't have enough money
what makes you think so? He's only made the comments that some people are vote buying, but he's not said he's going to lose the election. As it stands now, we can't even say for sure that because he hasn't distributed, he would lose the election.
Let me say that the chairmanship position is between Dr. Kovreji and Kofi Potiphar.
And there's nothing wrong with such projections.
Oh yes, of course. There is nothing wrong. But you've heard him that he's crying like a small boy now that people are sharing money which he does not have the capacity to share equally.
But he never admitted that because of that he would lose the election.
Provided the NDC delegates are going to measure the contenders with a certain level of knowledge. If not, I must say that it will not favor him. I mean, when it comes to intellectual debate, you cannot discount Dr. Kovreji as an academician, as a strong politician. But as you speak now, because he lacks a certain capability in terms of monetary value, I mean, there is that possibility that he might lose the election to Honorable Kofi Potiphar. As for Wudu Yaya and my uncle,
I think, for instance, here's what we'll do, David. We will continue some of these projections tomorrow here when we follow keenly the Congress of the National Democratic Congress. And so we'll leave it here for now. Thank you very much, gentlemen.